cabinet reshuffle?
Well, I think the most interesting one and the most important one in economic terms is probably the energy portfolio, because energy is very broad. We have the power generation and Eskom there, but we also have the Central Energy Fund, shale gas, all those sort of energy-related fields. And also I think the pipelines that we've seen built over time, but if you want to build a new pipeline, that also falls under the energy minister at this moment in time.
The last time there was a cabinet reshuffle, lots of reaction on the markets, people saying that billions of rands had been lost on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. This time the rand not reacting much, it's about 13.47 to the dollar. People are saying there is cabinet reshuffle fatigue.
It might be, but I think we must remember that in sort of economic terms, the most important ministry is the finance ministry. And if that had changed again, I think that would have, the rand's reaction would have been much bigger. So first of all, it depends on how the markets view and interact with those ministries. The energy ministry is an important one, but it probably comes down below the Department of Trade and Industry and Finance, and probably one or two other aspects of market regulation, for example, the Minister of Economic Affairs. So those are the sort of things that I think the market would look at. But energy is very important in the bigger picture. And as we know, there is a possible nuclear program to be built. And at this moment in time, Eskom cannot even sell all its electricity that it generates. So one wonders why that is so many cabinet reshuffles at this moment in time in that portfolio.
So Fitch and S&P Global looking to rate South Africa again soon. People are saying we're trying to avoid any further downgrades because of the impact that it has on the economy and on our day-to-day lives as citizens. What kind of an impact, if any, do multiple reshuffles have on ratings agencies' view of South Africa?
Well, I think the impact here will be minor in the sense that very often cabinets are reshuffled around the world. I don't think that is a big problem whatsoever. I think what they more want to know is what our policies are going to be. And I think for them, the big watchword is going to be the 25th of October with the medium-term budget policy statement. They're going to want to see what the budget deficit is, what our growth forecasts, what are our inflation, how South Africa is going to look into the future and what our government's plans are and policies are around that. So I think this is a small negative, but it's such a small negative, it's really not going to feature much on the radar screen.
So before the news cycle just went into overdrive today, we saw that the Government Employees Pension Fund was in Parliament. People are taking a look at the PIC, discussions around that. Perhaps let's go to state-owned enterprises and ask, do we need to take a look at how they run, operate and change that significantly if we want to grow South Africa's economy significantly and stop these constant bailouts?
Yes, I think that's very clear. It's also one of the things that the rating agencies are looking at. They're saying if you keep on giving government guarantees to these institutions and government bailouts, that is going to be a cause of concern for us. I think we've also got to recognize that Eskom has 350 billion rand in government guarantees. They have not used it all up yet, but once they get there, that becomes like 8 or 9% of GDP, which is very, very big, and will take us over the 60% combined debt and government guarantees. We also know that SAA is getting another bailout, or likely to get another 5 billion bailout, and their guarantees are in the tens of billions as well at the moment. It's very likely that this organization, the SABC, and many others are going to have to. So for the financial health of the country, we have to get the right management into place, the right policies into place, and the right things that those SOEs have got to do. And I think what they've got to do is focus on their first and foremost thing. If you're SAA, you are there to transport people. If you're there at Eskom, stable and low electricity prices should be your main thing. And the SOEs combined play a 7% role in our economy at the moment. And if we take it a bit broader, we even have SOEs on the city and the metro. So for example, in Johannesburg, you have a City Power and a Joburg Water. So all of these organizations are very, very important. And if they are continuously poorly run and they have to be bailed out all the time. It takes money away from somewhere else, either say health or education or tertiary education or even social grants. So ultimately we cannot afford to have organizations that should not be making losses, at least making these sort of losses.
Mike Schussler, thanks so much for your time on SABC News.